We look like we're in heaven and hell. I'm in a very like blue light room, and you're in the darkness.
Yeah, I tried brightening it up a little bit more, and for some reason, it's just not working. So
That's right. We've got the dynamic.
yeah.
Hades.
Meanwhile, you're the one below ground.
Clearly.
Right.
Well, see, and this just illustrates that maybe not.
There you go.
Maybe not.
There you go. So you want to get this started?
Yeah. How about we get this started? When do you want me to? You want to do the intro? Like right when? Like now?
You never really get to do that.
No, it's fun when I have control of things.
Yeah. I forgot. You don't really ever do that, and you didn't exercise that last time we were remote.
No, I did not. I was. What was last time we were remote?
It was like 2 weeks ago.
We were just tired.
Yeah, we were pretty tired.
Yeah, it's just It was a weird thing. But welcome anyone who's just joining to Discussions and Drinks, featuring Baker's My Podcast.
Yes.
And
what
here
day is
early.
today?
We're here early. So for us, it is a early Sunday morning. Well, not early, but it's a Sunday morning. It's early for us. And we've got our BIMP squad hanging out with us. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for jumping in the morning for once. And so we are discussing, but we are not necessarily drinking. I mean, we're drinking, but
we're drinking. We've got coffee. I've got my giant size X-Men mug.
Nice.
Very excited.
I have this dolphin whale. No, it's whales.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Some Aztec whales.
Okay.
Or maybe dolphins, or maybe sharks. I think the idea was sharks because it's at my house.
Today is Columbus Day when this is dropping.
Oh, nice. Happy Columbus Day.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Celebrating that idiot.
Yeah, if you're celebrating for that, I mean, kids are off from school, which is interesting that we're still in the year. What was it? But what is good is actually now, because of all the stuff with coming out about Mr. Columbus, now it's considered Indigenous Peoples Day.
I prefer that.
Yeah.
I prefer that because originally we were celebrating him being wrong.
Right. The guy didn't actually land here.
Yeah. We were like, look at that guy that made a mistake. That did not.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. He did land here, but he didn't think he landed here. Right. Which is why Native Americans were Indians.
Right.
Because
wrong.
Because somebody, and this is going back to last week's episode, somebody didn't fact check.
That's right.
Fact check. I mean, I guess it's easier now than it was in 1492.
You know what I think's funny is these days, if someone says they're fact checking, people take it as an insult. They're like, "How dare you fact check me?" And
what?
it's like, hey, don't we want facts?
Don't we want
the truth? Isn't that what we want?
Yeah.
It's silly.
Yeah, people are super sensitive about the wrong things.
Yeah. People are sensitive about a lot of things. So I'll just bring up my bacon this week.
Oh, okay.
Right? So my bacon this week, originally, I found my bacon today, honestly, but my bacon this week was going to be just kind of like rediscovering dormant passions, right? Because this week I've really been like rediscovering how fun guitar can be and how much I can still learn on it. even though I've been playing it for such a long time. Like getting into like I bought some online lessons. I've looked up a bunch of things. I've just been like studying it in a different way.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because like studying guitar now with all the built up kind of like not just knowledge of music, but also the knowledge of how I learn and how to study makes it way more efficient than when I started studying guitar at 13.
Right.
You know?
Well, that's because at 13 you're discovering guitar and approaching it with starry eyes, right? You're
sure.
You're like you're looking at it the way that you look at your heroes, right? You're the people, the reason why you're getting into this. And now we're kind of salty vets in a lot of ways.
Sure.
But we still enjoy guitar. That is still there.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. I actually was sort of doing that myself, and I said actually, so a little peek behind the curtain. We're working on some music together, and yesterday you sent me a track with some guitar ideas,
mm-hmm.
and my initial ideas for that track, I was like, I want to do slide guitar on this. And I could not for the life of me find my slide. Could not for the life of me. I couldn't believe it. I haven't touched it in, it's got to be like 15 years. But
well, it's shocking you can't find it then.
Right. And we've been in this house for 10. So
right. How could it not be right where he was?
Yeah, because it's not where it was. And I don't even know where it was. So I said, all right, I'm going to go on the Amazon. I'm going to buy myself a guitar slide. And you could either buy a Fender slide for $15 or a Dunlop slide for $14 and change. And then a little thing comes up, and it was, you could buy 8 of them for $11.99. And I said, you know what?
Okay.
I'm going to buy that one, because what if I don't know where my slide is again? Okay. So here I got
11 slides are hard to lose.
Whole pack of slides. They're glass.
Okay.
They're glass here. And there's several different sizes too. Like there's the large ones and stuff. I actually, I gave one to Andy because he's like, I've never done slide guitar before. I said, well, I have more slides than I need.
11 slides.
So here, you go ahead and take one. And then you went and put some leads down. And I never used my slides. But it's okay. I'm all right with that. But it does mean that I do need to reignite some passions and learn some slides.
I'll take one of those slides.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to replace a broken slide.
Yeah.
I loaned a slide to my guitar player, and he promptly, within one song, stepped on it and broke it. And I'm like, it doesn't go on the floor. It goes on your hand.
Yeah. So that's why, Deaf Bird, we will not give one to Frank.
That's right. These are glass. He'll break them.
Yeah,
He'll break them and he can hurt himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Mine was wood. He can break a wood one and be fine.
Right. Splinters are...
I'm going to switch to like brass.
I was going to get the brass one, but again, I was just like, I never had glass slides. I've had the metal one.
Yeah.
And the metal one was actually bequeathed to me by my dad.
Nice.
And but I haven't seen it in 15 years, so.
But yeah, so that was my original bacon, and I like the idea of, I also I look around my place right now, and there's a bunch of painting supplies, and it's because every now and then Annie will reignite her passion for painting, right? And she'll do acrylic pours and things like that. It may lay dormant for a while, and it may be something that you don't pick up for a while. But if it gave you joy in the past, there's a good chance it'll give you joy in the future and in the present. So So anybody that's listening that had something that they were passionate about or that they enjoyed doing and that they just haven't done forever, pick it back up. Pick it back up.
I think it's really important, and we've talked about how doing a passion and trying to make it a career and stuff like that, and I do think that there's actually some, like, you can still have passion for something you're doing as a career kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of how you approach it. So I approached the slides kind of with career stuff in mind, but now that it's not going to be applied there, now it's like, okay, well, I can have fun with this.
Well, and it can still be applied there. I say stuff, but it doesn't all have to be used.
Sure.
None of it has to be used. Maybe your slide idea is perfect.
Yeah. Well, no, I like your ideas. I like it. Yeah. I like the painting thing too. That's I haven't really done a lot of it. Gavin got very into it, and actually Jen was doing some stuff with the kids too. Just, we bought a whole bunch of canvases and stuff, and it is really relaxing. I don't know if you've done it with her.
I haven't. I've watched her do it, which is also cool and relaxing because acrylic board is just kind of cool because it's just it's drippy, and it's, like the kind of painting that I did. Like I took art classes in school and stuff. I was never real good at like doing anything where I had to make anything look like an actual existing thing.
Okay.
But I love the kind of paint. Like Jackson Pollock was my favorite artist. I did like reports on him and stuff. And if you're not familiar with his work, it's very splatter paint type stuff. He would like be above a canvas and just drip paint and throw it. And like his paintings, like there's cigarette butts in it because he was like smoking and standing over it and doing it. It's very like, I don't know. There was a very punk rock thing about it.
Sure.
His artwork to me. Or he'd have two paintings because he'd put canvas on top of each other and he'd cut something out of one and then paint, and then one would be with the cutout in it and the other would be where the paint went through.
Okay.
The canvas. And so I always thought that stuff was really, really cool. I like going in to create something without something in mind.
Yeah.
I always think that's kind of fun, and just kind of seeing what ends up. I'm blown away by like street artists that spray paint.
Oh yeah.
Pictures and stuff. I have a Deadpool painting up on my wall that Annie got me from, I think, Seattle maybe, where it was like a street artist that did it with spray cans, and it's crazy cool how it all works. And I'm even looking in our comments and I see a reignited passion for drawing and painting for Donna. And Deafbird picking up her guitar and stuff. I just think that's so cool, like, I don't know.
Yeah. I really
forget. And then sometimes we feel like because we haven't done something in a long time, we feel guilty about it. And then it's just like, when you look at that thing, you just like feel like a failure. And it's like, you shouldn't do that. You should look at it and think like, it doesn't matter when I put it down. It matters when I pick it up.
Yeah. And I also think that there's probably, and I think that's because of the way that life and everyday life is nowadays, because when is there never something to do? Like, there's always something to do. You have to do something all the time. And the second you turn to that passion or whatever, or that escape, and there's still something sort of on the docket, you start feeling guilty about it.
Yeah.
And Deafbird even said, oh my God, the guilt. Yeah. It's that I feel guilty because this could be done. And I think that our generation is sort of, we're all trying to break cycles here, but I do think that a lot of the reasons why we don't necessarily go after our passions still, or make time for those passions is because there's always something that needs to be done, and you feel bad doing it because that did not get done.
Yeah,
and
I definitely think that's one.
And I do think that I think we all need to I think we need to just chill a little bit and realize that the dishes are going to be there in another hour. Right?
Yeah.
The dishes are going to be there, and they're not going anywhere. And you're allowed to do it. And same with anything. I think it's really important that people do embrace their escape a little bit, despite being raised with such guilt, always getting such guilt, always guilted. Well, you have time for this, but you don't make time for this. And it's like,
yeah, I was going to say, do you think some of that is because of like the childhood chores mentality? Like, you can do this once your chores are done, and that just builds and builds and builds. And so now it's like we don't feel okay doing anything if there's anything undone, because that's like stuff we were grounded for before.
Well, I mean,
at least I was. I don't know what your history was like.
Yeah,
but mine was definitely that.
I like, even with my kids, like they're getting to the age where they have to start doing stuff. Even the dishes, even the all that stuff. So studies have shown that giving them responsibility is super important for their confidence. It's super important for them for growing up and taking things on and handling day-to-day life things. But at the same time, I do think that there is a lot of negative connotation that we've all experienced.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not something that I necessarily want to put onto my kids. I won't ground them for not doing it, but I will remind them that, like, hey, you're not going to be able to do this later if you don't do this now.
Right.
I think it's the approach. If you don't do something, if you forget to take the garbage out, and then it's like, well, you're grounded for a week. I think that's a bit extreme.
Sure.
But saying you can go and play video games after you do this, then I think it's just the way it's presented, and I'm sure we've all been scolded for, well, you had time to do this, but you didn't do this.
Right.
And then that, if it's done over and over and over and over again, then yeah, that's how you view things as an adult.
Yeah. If you got time to lean, you got time to clean.
I'd never heard that one before, but that's
work in a restaurant.
Yeah.
I also think though that, like, so I think that's one aspect of guilt that definitely we have that keeps us from doing things. And I think the other one goes back to, again, what we had talked about before, about like that tendency to try and make your passions into a career and figure out, like, how do I make this worthy of me doing it and stuff. I think there's this other thing where when you start looking at something, and I'm guessing, because I know a little bit about Def Bird's guilt with guitar, that it's like you're super passionate about something for a long period of time, and for that period of time, it's like the thing you're doing, and it's the thing you're telling everybody you're doing, and it's the thing that you're putting out to the world, and then you go through something like a move, or like a traumatic event, or just getting a new job, or things that kind of make you take away from it. And the further and further and further you get away from it, the more you almost feel like a phony, because you'll see somebody and they'll be like, hey, are you playing guitar? Are you writing songs? Are you doing anything? And you're like, no, I'm not. And so you start to, like, it starts to become a thing that puts a weight on you. when you look at it, and it's almost no longer enjoyable because you feel like you should pick it up and have the same passion that you did. So then you put that thing in your head like, well, until I have the same passion and I have the same time and I have the same amount of energy to put toward it that I always did, I'm going to wait because I'm not going to half-ass it.
Sure.
Right. And it just gets further and further away. And it's like you start to forget that like this passion, painting or guitar or songwriting or anything, it wasn't to further your career when you figured out you loved it.
Right.
Right. It was because you loved it and it was your escape and it was your thing. And that doesn't go away. So even picking it up and just messing around on it starts to help clear away some of that stuff. I know I went through a period where I was like, well, I'm more a singer than I am anything else, because that's what I was focusing all my time on, because that's the thing that was that's the thing that I needed to focus my time on.
Right.
I went on a couple tours and my voice blew out a couple times and I was like, uh-oh, I'm the weak link. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this.
Sure.
But not having to, being able to kind of like coast on guitar where it was already, made it easy to just kind of like be like, well, you know, I'm focusing on this other thing. And
right.
yeah, I'm a songwriter.
Right.
Right. So anytime it's like the excuse. Anytime one thing suffers, you're like, well, I'm really this other thing.
Yeah.
You know, and for like us, it's easy because it's still all in music.
Yeah.
Right. So we can let things kind of like, I haven't picked up a guitar in 2 weeks, or seriously in this long, or whatever. That you start to kind of like feel like, oh, I can be okay without doing it for a while, and you forget how much you loved it. So like there's the guilt, there's like the ambivalence, I guess, or the excuses. There's the, well, I'm still doing this, so I'm still doing it. But when you have something that you were passionate about, when you do pick it back up, whenever that is and however that is, the minute you learn something new on it, it's just awesome again. At least for me, like learning like a different way to look at writing a guitar part and playing guitar for a song because of doing it in a different role was awesome. But not even for a song, just learning some different techniques that I didn't know.
Sure.
Learning the way other people thought about how they played.
Yeah.
You know, man, it's just fun. It's awesome.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Are you a fan of Bacon Is My Podcast? And you're like, where can I find more stuff?
Well, we got the site for you at baconismypodcast.com. That's where you can find literally everything. It's the portal to his stuff, my stuff, and our stuff, including Bacon's My Fashion.
You can find t-shirts, you can find hats, you can find all kinds of stuff to put on your body parts. You can also check out all of our awesome sponsors, get discounts. We always have the most recent and the best prices for you. And check it out also over at patreon.com/
Bacon Is My Podcast. Never changing.
Never changing. Find us at baconismypodcast.com. Thanks for checking it out, guys. And remember to ask yourselves,
what's your bacon?
World peace.
Yeah, I think that's great. Actually, Donna in the chat, me and Jen have been talking about combining passion with career a lot, and getting over the imposter syndrome.
That's a whole other thing.
Jenny's, my Jen is doing some stuff. She's getting into some things and igniting some passions that are, she's got the travel bug. We always talk about the things that I go and do and stuff like that. She's got the travel bug. So now she's actually training to become a travel agent.
Oh,
and
sweet.
Yeah. So that's something that she's been getting into, and something that we both kind of have talked about a little bit is we've always said, like, we should start some sort of business together. We should do this, we should do that, or whatever. And I just have a feeling that some of the things that I enjoy doing and her travel thing, somehow it's going to converge, and it's going to have no choice but to sort of lend to each other. But yeah, she's got the imposter syndrome, and we talk about it all the time. Our imposter syndrome.
Oh, dude, we all do. You know, like
Yeah.
I can't tell you. Like I was shocked when I got a text from you and Andy both saying that you really liked what I sent, guitar wise.
Yeah.
Like because of imposter syndrome. I was like, really? You guys actually like it? That's cool. You know, we all kind of have that. So
Sure.
good for her though, man. That's super awesome.
Yeah.
And those things have to converge because if she becomes a travel agent and then you use her as your travel agent, now you're just paying yourself.
Yeah. Commission, baby.
The place to be.
Yeah. Exactly. So that'll be pretty cool. I'm excited for her. I'm really excited for her, and finally kind of finding something that she's like, I have a passion for this. I really want to do it. So I'm going to.
Nice.
And I'm
good
like,
for her.
Good. Do it. Go.
That's awesome.
Go. Because she's always done that for me. You know, I wouldn't be sitting here if she didn't.
That's that's how you're supposed to be. That's how you're supposed to be as a partner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it kind of piggybacks onto my bacon.
Yeah. What's yours?
And it's trying something different. Something that I've been trying to do. I'm always trying to do it. Is trying something different, trying something new, trying to do things the way that you wouldn't necessarily always look at it from the beginning, you know? And this goes from everything, from relationships to creative, to my job, to literally everything. And yeah, if something works, keep doing it. But also, if there is another way to do it, maybe take a look at that way and see how you could approach something. And yeah, just trying something different is kind of what my bacon has been lately. Everything from, we did we're doing this musical project that keeps on coming up in conversation, but like, I was presented with a song or an idea, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm not going to go the way that I always would go. And that's been my approach to Oswald's Revenge is I want to bring me to it, but not force me into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to approach it with a different mentality. So the latest thing that I was given and wrote with, I put church organs in it.
Nice.
I put some church organs in it. I did a little bit of like a reggae kind of feel behind the song. And when I sat back and looked at it, and I was like, man, I'm happy I did that. I'm happy I approached it this way.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so like that's just one example, but everything from cooking and from just my interactions with people and I'm so used to approaching things a certain way. Like we've talked about it in the past. I don't know if it was on the show, but it's definitely you and I about like approaching things from coming from under, right?
Yeah.
And I need to
from like an insecure. I'm having to prove
I'm coming
that
to
I
you.
should even be here.
I'm coming to you with my, like not my hands out, but like, and I've kind of learned over the course of the past few months that it's okay to come from a level playing field. Again, it's that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been embracing that a little bit too. So yeah, just doing something a little different. Breaking that cycle. I tried mushroom. I tried something with mushrooms in it. You know what?
Not the regular kind.
Yeah, no, the edible, the
Well, they're all
day-to-day food, the day-to-day food, not the hallucinogenic.
Right.
Yeah, I ate something with mushrooms in it.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I was proud of you for that.
Yeah, and I didn't make poo-poo faces or anything.
You did not one poo-poo face.
Yeah, and that was okay. Yeah, I forgot about. I wasn't even talking about the ones we had in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about so twice. I did it twice. I didn't make a poo-poo face.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. So trying something different.
That's a good one. That's a good bacon.
Yeah. Yeah. Just try to be conscious about it.
I think it's important to always kind of like, you never learn anything if once you've learned one way of doing it, that's the only way you do it.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you stop learning. Oh, did Bruce make an appearance?
Yeah, he made a run in.
He's behind me here, so he's just kind of hanging out. How you doing, buddy? He just looks sad all the time. We just went for a walk. We went for a quick walk. Because I was like, I'm not going to be able to later. So we're going to go now. I will say, so to take us off of the bacon, this has all been positive. I'm going to bring up a question. Why do you think human interactions have to be so weird? Right? I was walking my dog. Was just walking my dog today, and I encountered 3 different other humans. Now, I will point out, if my dog sees another animal of the same species in the neighborhood, they immediately acknowledge each other. There is a certain sizing up of how's this gonna go, and then we move on. Sometimes they have a conversation, sometimes they walk right past and there's no thing, but there's always an acknowledgement of there is another animal of the same species that is in my vicinity. I will also say that if a human is going for a walk and you see a dog, you will acknowledge that dog's existence.
Yeah,
you will look at it. You may not. You may talk to it. It may be close. You may avoid it. You may slow down and keep eye contact, but you will always acknowledge that it exists. Squirrels acknowledge each other. Dogs acknowledge squirrels. Why do humans, right? Like, I'm walking on the same side of the street as someone that is in their yard. We make eye contact, and they immediately try to pretend that I am not another human being on this earth that is walking in their vicinity. They don't see a person there. There's nobody there. And then we both have this awkward, like, well, I know you saw me. So I feel like I should say hello or good morning as I pass and as my dog sniffs your yard. I feel like there's something that should happen.
There's a transaction,
right?
That should happen.
Something should happen. But there's this, it's like, but you have given me a reason to think that is not something that, not an interaction that you want to have. So now we just have this really awkward passing, like ships in the night moment that I know is putting more thought in both of our heads than a simple good morning would have, because that would have happened and we would have both gone on with our day and had a friendly interaction with someone in the neighborhood. Or even a smile. Donna just said, try and give a smile, right? There was no danger. My dog, Bruce is 30 pounds of the dumbest looking cute. See, he just got mad because I call him dumb.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you look dumb. You do. Sorry, you got a dumb face. Your eyes go in different directions. He does not look threatening. He's tiny, right? Why? And ran into another person walking another dog. And they were like, our dogs acknowledge each other. And I was like, he just likes to make friends. And the person looked at me dead in the face and then looked away from me and then pulled their dog the other direction. And I was like, okay, all right.
That was a choice.
That was a weird way to go with that interaction. Fair, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? What is wrong with us?
I don't know if that's. I feel, especially because we go all over the place, right? I think unless it's like a major league populated city, where there's hundreds of people that you're passing, like New York City, Nashville, you're in the heart of the city.
Right.
Of course, you don't have time to look at everybody and go, hey, because then you'll be like
completely different.
Then you'll be like Buddy the Elf.
Yes.
And people will look at you weird. Okay. But by and large, anywhere else in the world, if you're walking around or walking a dog or whatever, and you're passing by somebody, there's usually like a friendly, hey, how are you? Nice day today. Like some sort of little pleasantry.
Yeah.
As you pass.
Right.
I feel like in New York, there's much less of that. I think in Jersey, it's probably a little better in certain areas, not in all of them. I think it's mostly in major cities.
But we're not in a major city. We're in Long Island.
Yeah,
Long
no.
Island to pretend.
I agree. But also, I think you're going where I'm going with this. Long Island likes to pretend that it is basically part of the city.
But Long Island is Northeast Tucky.
It's right. We are way closer to farmland than we are to skyscrapers.
Yes.
But again, like you said, you've got your Olive Garden variety Italian that are like, I'm from New York City. No, you're not.
Yeah,
you're from Manorville.
You avoid going to New York City as much as possible. You haven't been there in 25 years.
Yeah, exactly. You know apple cider donuts better than you know dirty water hot dogs.
Yes, that is a great example.
Right. So I think that's a lot of it too. I think it's just the Long Island, New York, that I think people wish they were from the city. And I guess because it's a 40-minute train ride or a 50-minute train ride, they feel entitled to use that.
I don't think they realize though that like in an urban environment where there's 100 people passing each other, the act of looking forward and keeping to yourself is the correct one. But when you're on a suburban street in your yard and someone walks their dog past, that kind of behavior is just dick.
I think that people don't have that understanding.
I had like a #1 dad shirt on too.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, come on, Dad. What's happening, man?
I also think Jen and I were talking about this yesterday, and I think that sometimes there are certain people who, again, I'm trying to approach things differently. I'm trying to... I can kind of talk to anybody. even if I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
they're
your whole
just
job.
right, and sometimes you just can't get that click. And I don't know if it's because some people are just overly guarded and don't want to end up in a awkward conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be some of the hesitancy as well, where it's kind of like,
That's true. There is
all
a
right,
fear.
I'm walking my dog, or I'm straightening up my yard, and the last thing I need is to get stuck in a conversation about weather with this guy with his dog that looks two different directions at the same time.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm
But
not
that's
saying
also,
it's right, but also
that's an awful lot of main character syndrome, though. Too, is
yes,
you're like, clearly this person doesn't have anything better to do with their life. That if I say hi, they're going to stop and take up my day.
yeah.
You know, it's like, nah, man. I'm walking a dog. I'm in the middle of something that I'm doing.
Yeah. I believe in the pleasantry, and I do think that there's definitely a strategy that you can use that you can not necessarily be stuck in a conversation with. And I think it also is directly correlated with the volume in which you exchange that pleasantry with.
Sure.
And I think you can walk by somebody and give a nod, give a smile, not necessarily say anything. Or my go-to is the how you doing? And
yeah.
Or just the hi.
Yeah, that's not inviting conversation.
Right.
An acknowledgement that there's a human in your vicinity.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have to be, hey, lovely weather.
Yeah. It's not transactional.
Yeah. It's just, you're here.
A nod. Just a nod. You didn't have to say anything.
We're sharing oxygen together.
To dead-eye me and then turn away is it's like, I know I'm here. I know you know I'm here. And now you're forcing the both of us to have awkward thoughts about why this just happened and what happens next.
Maybe they're not having awkward thoughts. Maybe you're playing main character syndrome now.
Ah, touche. Touche, me, my own self.
Yeah.
You might be right there. You might be right there.
Just saying. Maybe number one dad just thinks less of you.
Which is fine.
You know? Should. I feel that way all the time when people pass and they're just like, look away.
Look away.
Just look away.
I've had that interaction with people. Like, I remember having that interaction with people that I was literally. I've had it with kids that I'm teaching. Like, I've sat in a small room with someone where we both have guitars, and had someone not look at me, or speak, and I'm like, how are we doing this here?
How's this working?
What's happened today? How do you want this to go?
Yeah.
Because you're not giving me anything right now.
Yeah, that's the poo-poo face in a lesson.
Yeah.
No thanks. No thanks.
I just think we all need to do a little bit of a better job of at least acknowledging that there are other people in the world, and just because we may have insecurities or fears about speaking to humans doesn't mean we have to act like they're not there. Because the more we act like they're not there, the more I think we're able to not care about other humans, because we isolate. And I think that is I think that's potentially a mistake.
I agree. I very much agree. I like that. Now, on the other hand, that I was talking about with Jen, there's certain people, like we're in a nice little community here, Forest City, and we have, luckily, we pay $20 a year to be a part of the Forest City Association. And what that does is it kind of, they have a park, and they have little festivals and little tree lighting ceremonies during Christmas, and you can go to a clubhouse that has, and I'm not talking about like this fancy schmancy. It's a shack with a bathroom and heat, but you could send your kids to art class or something, once a week or for an hour or whatever. And it's a really cool little community. And so we had the fall festival yesterday, and now because I have kids and my kids are in the community, and we're trying to let them flourish and make friends and stuff like that, being forced into conversation with other people in the community, that could be a little rough. And it's amazing how there are just certain people who you could get to a certain depth, and then bam, brick wall. And you're just like, I'm trying here. Like you're standing here, and I'm trying. I'm trying to. Our kids get along.
We're gonna be in each other's lives.
We're gonna be in each other's lives. So if you want to stop at the weather, cool. But you're making this weird.
Yeah. We're gonna have a lot of conversations that sound the same.
Yeah. And it's and I've definitely taken myself out. We were both kind of reflecting, taking ourselves out, and like going, okay, well, this is their situation. They may have just had a baby, and maybe they're dealing with postpartum or this or that, and that's why they're kind of disconnected. But and you know what? Also, maybe I'm just not a likable person in their eyes. That's always possible. But man, people don't even try. They just don't. They don't try. And I feel like that's a lot of the same. Like we're walking our dogs, and we cross each other, and they look away. Right. It's like they don't even want to. They don't even try. They don't want to try. And I don't know if that has to do with self-importance or self-preservation, or just they've got a lot going on in their head and in their lives. But yeah, sometimes, like you said, just try a little bit.
Yeah,
You'd be amazed at how far that could go with somebody.
I'm not looking for friendship. I got friends.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get into your day. I'm not trying to. To be honest, I don't care. I don't care who you are, what you got going on. But I will say, if I walk past you and it's just the two of us on a road, I will acknowledge your existence.
Yeah.
Because I respect that you're a human. And I know that, hey, if I recognize you and we've shared that, then maybe if I am ever in a situation where I need a hand and you're outside and we've at least exchanged glances and recognized that we're humans, maybe you'll come give me a hand, or maybe I'll come give you a hand if you need one. Or just, we live in the same area. If something happens in that area, maybe we're going to need to talk someday. Who knows? Or maybe none of those things will ever happen, and I'm just acknowledging that there are other people besides me in the world.
Yeah. Donna does bring up the other side could be their anxieties and insecurities. Their brains could be in a very serious fight or flight mode. Pure terror is settling in, that they are using all their energy to flight. And no, I agree.
I can buy that if it's not so many people. Everybody around isn't in fight or flight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't run into 3 people that are also outside walking their pet or in their yard that are in a crazy fight or flight moment.
Yeah.
You know, there's sure that's a thing, and that could be a thing, but there's just a blatant disregard for other human beings that happens.
That's something that we discuss a lot on this podcast most recently with the social media stuff, and it's just like a lot of self-absorbed, self-important people.
And again, I'm not even trying to assert that there's something wrong with them.
Sure.
Or that they're deliberately doing something dicky, or even that they need to acknowledge my existence, right?
Yeah.
That's not even it. It's just a thing that I'm noticing where I'm like, enough to where I'm like, I wonder why this is. And it can't be that everybody's terrified and having a breakdown.
Right.
It can't be. And if everybody around is terrified and having breakdowns, then I don't even know what that means, because that's like,
well, it means it's an election year.
Wrong area.
It means it's an election year.
Because that's
what we always blame it on.
Right. Yeah.
Business is slow. It's an election year.
It's an election year.
People are having nervous breakdowns all over the place. It's an election year.
I can't acknowledge you outside because I need to hurry up and get inside so I can get online and defend somebody who doesn't know me.
Exactly. Which I think
I need to acknowledge this person that'll never acknowledge my existence.
Yeah.
Instead of nod and smile to the person whose dog just shit in my yard.
At least I picked it up.
Yeah, I pick it up.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I think that we need to end this on a positive note, because today is also I Love You Day.
Is it?
Yeah.
What an awesome day.
Right? And I think that everybody needs to show a little bit more love to everybody.
Yeah.
So I love my wife. I love my kids. I love my family. I love my podcast partner here, my partner in crime. I love you guys here in the chat over on patreon.com/baconismypodcast. I think love, man. Love is number one.
I like that. I love my dumb looking dog.
Yeah.
I love my girl. I love you, buddy. I love you guys in the chat. I love anybody that's listening right now. And I only want the best for everyone out there, unless you're doing some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Then it just depends on how weird it is.
Right. Or, if it's still kind of weird but not terrible. Yeah. I don't want to be involved, but
if you're not hurting anybody else, weird it up.
Yeah.
Weird it up.
I may not want to be involved, but still, you do you.
Or I may. Put it in the comments.
Exactly. Let us be the judge.
Let us know what you're into. But dude, I think that's awesome. I love that. I love that it's I Love You Day.
Yeah.
So everyone within the sound of our voices, tell somebody that you love them today.
Yeah.
Tell somebody that you don't always tell.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to tell your friends you love them.
It doesn't mean, it doesn't mean gay or whatever.
It's got nothing to do with touching privates.
Right. It has nothing to do with sexual preference.
Yeah.
It means that you deeply care about somebody.
Absolutely.
Also, don't tell a stranger you love them, because that's just weird.
But if you work in retail, just say it randomly to somebody when they buy something.
Just to see what their reaction.
Because you'll have a fun moment. I've done that.
But then you
thanks so
have
much.
An out.
Here's your change. Love you.
Yeah. And then you also have an out because today is I love you day.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to do it today.
I like
and
it.
Just be like, gotcha. So guys, thank you so much for joining us.
We love you.
Jimsy, enjoy the rest of your liquid diet today. Enjoy that drink. That drink is gonna suck.
Yeah.
I know you got to go upstairs for the restroom. I would suggest picking a spot in your in the little porch area. Get comfortable. Get your iPad. Download some shows.
Cool. Yeah, I got 4 big bottles of Gatorade and 4 boxes of broth in my future.
Okay.
And whatever this powder's gonna do.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be something. That's gonna be something
fun.
Yeah. Also, I do want to shout out our buddy Matthew Lowry. He's going through some little bit of health stuff going on, but he's coming out the other side of it. He's coming out the other side of it. He wants to come back on the show. He wants to talk a little bit about getting your health right, figuring things out, taking care of yourself. So we're gonna do a D&D with him sometime soon.
Awesome.
Yeah. But shout out to him. Hope he's feeling better.
Hey, Mr. Lowry, we love you, buddy.
Yeah, we love you, buddy. It's I love you day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks for joining us. We love you. And always remember, ask yourself one super important question.
What's your bacon?